Okay, good afternoon. My name is Bob Nunn. I'd like to thank all you guys for coming to the presentation today, and I'd also like to thank our manager, Kelly Ryan, for letting us come in here and do this. This is going to be a lecture on, obviously, effective PowerPoint presentations, and I spent years honing my skills on using PowerPoint. No comments, Gary. As a presentation tool, and after the end of this presentation, hopefully you guys will have the same skill sets as me. I do have some snacks, so if you guys want to pass around some snacks to keep you busy, I know there's several of you that do like to eat. So let's have fun with this. I'd like everybody to just briefly introduce yourself and go around the room, introduce yourself over here, and tell a little bit about your background. It doesn't have to be real lengthy. And I'd also like you to describe a food item that you like. I picked this out specifically for somebody in the group. Food item you like, it can be a full meal, it can be a food item, it can be a beverage, just something you like and why. It has to be something you do eat and foods. So we'll start with you.
Mike Barrett.
You're new to the group.
New to the group, you know, been with the company for 14 years now. Been in tier 2, yes, a little bit everywhere.
Good. So what kind of food items you like, Mark?
Spaghetti.
Spaghetti. Why? Why'd you pick that?
Because I used to live with Italians.
Ah, okay. That's good.
Andrew Jensen, coming up on 10 years now with ATTD. Big fan of pizza.
Yeah. Who doesn't like pizza?
Morph Barrier at 16 years, and I'm into raw cookie dough.
Raw cookie dough.
I can eat it.
Is there a particular reason why?
It's just so good.
Well,
it's gotta be something I made.
Did you grow up eating raw cookie dough? Your mom made cookies?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, I make sure I do it fresh because
I think they have a program for people like you.
Yeah, but it's just good.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it.
All right.
My name's Jerry Brzozowski. I've been with the company for 17 years now, and I'll say my favorite is steak.
Yes.
Beef. It's pretty
Medium rare?
Medium.
Medium. You don't like it?
A little medium rare is a little too.
That's one of my favorites too.
All right, Mahmoud Wahid, 13 years, and as far as food goes, I guess it's more like what I don't like. So I like all food. I love food. I live to eat.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes, we know. Welcome.
Johnny Johnson, and my favorite food today is peanuts.
Peanuts?
Yeah.
So you just like alternate from one thing to another?
It depends on the day.
Yeah.
So,
Today it's peanuts.
yeah, it came good and right out of the vending machine. So.
Okay.
My name is Elaine Marino. I have 31 years with ATTD, and just my favorite food most of the time is pizza. It's a good go-to easy meal, busy night.
Yeah.
I don't want to cook.
Agree with you on that.
Chuck Coburn, 14 years, AT&T, and my favorite food is probably barbecue anything.
Barbecue anything. Yeah. Well, I've been with the company 18 years now. I'd have to say my favorite food is chips and salsa. I could just sit down and eat a bottle of chips and salsa. As a matter of fact, that's what I do pretty much every day when I go home. First thing I do, grab a beer, chips and salsa. I'm good to go for the rest of the night.
Wow.
All right, well, I think we learned a little bit about each other and our eating habits. That's always interesting to hear what everybody's preference is. So let's get on with the presentation. By a show of hands, how many here have been to a PowerPoint presentation or any kind of presentation where you've sat through hours, days, maybe weeks of somebody regurgitating everything that's up on the screen, verbatim, word for word? In other words, they used it like their script. Yeah, I think we've all been through that, especially with our vendors. And did you walk away feeling like you gained anything from those meetings? Did you pick up any material that really was of value, or was it better off if they just printed the presentation, gave it to you, and said, go home and read this, and you gained about as much information? Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. Well, let's get into this because we are short on time, I know. I'm going to show you a demonstration of what not to do in a PowerPoint presentation. I know you guys have all experienced it, but hopefully this will work. And just pretend I'm one of those people that you've been sitting in for weeks, and this is the kind of thing you've been having to deal with. Hopefully this works. So, some of the things you want to do. You want to avoid changing the text or font size in your presentation slide. You should always use the same font size and size in each slide. It's suggested that you stick with Arial or New Times Roman because text that's too busy is hard to read and absorb. As you can tell, I'm having trouble reading it myself. And stay with a font size that's about 24 for the primary text, 30 for your title. Of course, the size of the font depends on the layout and amount of information in your slides. Depending on the background of the slide, try to refrain from different text colors because it gets a little bit difficult to read and it's sort of distracting. At the same time, you want to avoid using a lot of flash, a lot of video in your slide presentation because, again, that's distracting and it draws your attention away from the whole point of the presentation. While it might be a good idea to use that, you want to limit what you're doing, and I'm going to stop here because I'm boring myself. But you get the idea. This is what we deal with every time we go to one of these vendor things. And every presentation that I've seen so far, the slides will be different, the font size might be a little different, there'll be some kind of weird flash going on, and you're not focusing on what he's trying to teach you. You're focused on what's going on over here. So that's some of the things you want to avoid. And feel free to ask questions as we go through this presentation. Now I'm stuck again. There we go. So, effective PowerPoint presentations. What's the point? That example was kind of over the top, but it did give you something to think about. Would you enjoy sitting through days or weeks of something like that where you were just exposed to somebody standing up there reading everything that was on there? I mean, it'd be boring, right? So let's look at some examples of effective ways of doing a PowerPoint presentation. And I am having trouble with this. All right, there you go. So I took PowerPoint, divided it into two key elements, power and point. What do you think are some things that you can do with PowerPoint that provide power to the presentation? Let's get some examples up here. Gary? Since you decided to come to this meeting.
Power to the presentation. Start off with strong headers, subject matter, subject points.
Strong headers. Morris, what do you think?
What's the question?
What do you think PowerPoint adds power? What can you do to add power to a presentation?
To add power to a PowerPoint presentation.
Right.
Yeah.
Put you on the spot.
Yeah. I'd say minimum amount of words, or choosing wording wisely, or something like that. You know.
So limit the words.
Yeah.
All right. Andrew, what do you think?
Say, you can use bullet points to sort of back up your
That's good. Your
primary points of focus.
Yeah.
Kind of supporting material, I guess.
Well, let's compare what I came up with here, see how close you guys are. I didn't put that in these, by the way, Gary. I saw you kind of looking through there. So you can use PowerPoint, enhance your presentation, right? Do some creative things, but be real simplistic, like an icon that pops up, that flashes, just something real brief, real quick. It has the power to expand the presentation, where if you were just standing up here talking, again, you're going to lose interest in the audience. But presentation kind of draws you into it, brings your focus up to the screen at the same time that the presenter is talking. And it has the power to excite the audience. Again, just standing in front of somebody and talking, as opposed to doing a little bit of highlights, something interesting that kind of grabs their attention and draws them into it. So, what are some things that PowerPoint does that bring the point home in a presentation? You're giving a presentation to somebody. What is the point of PowerPoint? What does it provide? What do you think, Mike?
What does it provide?
What does it do for a presentation? What kind of points can it bring to a presentation?
Truth is, I'm not sure I'm getting the idea behind your question.
Okay, that's good. PowerPoint has the power to enhance, expand, and excite a presentation. And the point that it makes in a presentation, what can it do for a presentation to bring the point home to the audience, to the people listening to the presentation or trying to learn from the presentation? Let me give you an example. I'll get this to work. Okay? It can define what you're trying to present to your audience. That's one point that it can do. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
I guess it could expand it into other points too.
Yeah, that's good.
Visualize.
Visualize. Yeah, good. So we've got expand. Visualize.
Say summarize.
Yeah, good. I really am bad at writing the wall, so pardon me. Summarize. Let's see how close we came to what I put in this. So, as brings the point home, it can define, describe what the presentation is about, and deliver the presentation in a more effective way than just standing in front of a group. So those are all really good examples, I think, that you guys offered. All right, now let's talk about some things you want to do in a PowerPoint presentation. We saw a great example of what not to do. What do you think are some good examples? Obviously, you can just take what not to do and reverse that. So what do you think you should do in a PowerPoint presentation?
Keep it simple, few points, don't cram it.
Stick with the same font size, same colors,
As few
theme.
pages as possible, I'd say.
Yes, definitely. Limit the number of pages. That's really good. All good points. All good points. Abbreviate. Keep it brief. Keep it simple. You don't have to write a book in a presentation. Be consistent from slide to slide. Every slide should be the same. Font size should be the same. Color should be the same. It should be consistent from beginning to end. And keep it simple. You don't have to elaborate on anything. Use it as a guide, but not as your script. And be creative. Try to be creative as much as possible without overwhelming the audience. Don't do what we did earlier, right? Don't be too lengthy. Don't add a lot of variety. Again, it gets back to be consistent, be simple. Don't go all over the map with colors and different slide presentations. You get involved, and people that don't use PowerPoint a lot get involved and think, oh, look at this slide, this is really cool, and oh, I like this one too, well, I'll just use both of them. And before you know it, they've got like a whole presentation of all different slides, and again, it distracts the audience. Don't be too flashy, and don't be boring, which is not easy to do. So, in summary, PowerPoint has the power to enhance, expand, excite, define, describe, and deliver. So be consistent with your presentation, be brief, and keep it simple. So, for you have any questions, hopefully you have some, maybe you don't, because we all use PowerPoint before. What are some things you think you should do in an effective PowerPoint presentation? When we've talked about this, I just want to see if you picked up on any of this. You're going to go tomorrow and you're going to do a presentation, and they've given you 24 hours to come up with something. So what do you want to do, Morris? What do you think would be the best approach?
I need to know what I'm going to say.
Yeah. They've given you a subject, and they said, all right, I need this more information, and you're going to do it. So what are you going to do?
I think I'd have to brainstorm and kind of go, okay, here's the script I'm going off. Now what are some words that define these terms I'm going to speak? Mm-hmm. So that I won't put the definition of what a 7330 is, but instead,
right,
put a picture of a 7330 and put the Alcatel logo. Just find these one word or pictures that they can just say this is what it is without having to explain it, and you have to draw that stuff on paper or write it down.
Right.
Like that. And
you think you can do that within like a 24-hour period and try to keep it brief and concise at the same time? I mean, it's a hard task to do.
Yeah.
But I think you get the idea where you just want to maintain consistency and be uniform, but especially if you've got short notice, obviously you want to be as simple as possible. And maybe write out what you're going to plan to talk about, not put it up on the board for others to read, right?
Yeah.
What do you think, Andrew?
Kind of the same thing, where keep it clutter-free. Just use PowerPoint to kind of lead into what you're going to talk about and engage the group with, and just kind of highlight your main points.
Right.
Try not to get bogged down on loading it with too much information.
Yeah, exactly. Well, good. Does anybody have any questions they'd like to toss out? Okay.
Is there any difference when you're doing a presentation from, say, if I'm going to email this presentation out to an email list as opposed to one you're projecting on the board?
Let me make sure I understand what you're saying. Like when I do handouts, and there's a difference between what I hand out versus what I put up here, right? Yeah, I think, and if you've gone through this handout, you'll see that the examples that I provided of the do's and don'ts and what to do and what not to do, and what does PowerPoint do, what's the point to it, what's the power behind it, I left all the examples out. So, it gives the audience an opportunity to use that sort of as a notebook, note sheet, as opposed to just giving them everything, because really what's the point of me passing this out and it's got everything you need to know that's not up here, and you can customize it, when some of that's left blank, you can put in your own words.
But if you was actually going to email it, you might actually put more information in it, though, right?
Yeah, again, it would really depend on the subject matter, like one we did recently on change management. That was a fun 2-hour dissertation on every aspect of change management. And again, like this example we had earlier, he sent us in advance that presentation, and then you log into the call and you listen for 2 hours as he read everything word for word in that presentation. He could have just sent it out and said, here's my training, read it, if you've got questions, email me. I mean, it was, to me, a waste of 2 hours of my time that I could have spent doing something else. So, yeah, you can put everything on there that you're going to cover in the presentation, but then it gets back to complexity, and you want to keep it simple and keep it brief.
Okay.
So, did that answer your question? Anybody else? No? Okay. Well, I appreciate you guys again for coming in here and taking the time and helping me out with this project, and I hope you came away with a little bit more awareness of PowerPoint and how to use it properly and effectively. And if you've got any questions later on that come to mind, don't hesitate to call me.
Thanks.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.